good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing this morning? That's right, I'm little, but I'm proud and I'm loud. I was working on a new theme song last night. That's actually Rosie Flores. I'm little, but I'm loud. And it has a lot of good words in it. I'm kind of putting it together for something fun. There's even a bit about... I gotta look that up. Something about politicians in there, and I've got to float above the crowd. Yeah, that's me. Ask anybody in town, they know that I'm little, but I'm proud. That's me, Ann Eller, right here with you on WCRS Radio. Oh, it's just too much fun, too delightful. I don't know. Should we play it again? Okay, we are live on Facebook. Let's see if we can play it on Facebook here now. Just it's less than a minute. Take it away. I'm little but I'm loud, dangerous, proud. I don't really care if people stop and stare. Little but I'm loud. I ain't fooling around. Just anybody here in town, lift me up, don't turn me down. I rise above the crowd, little but I'm loud. Oh yeah. This world's a noisy place, politicians in your face. I don't have a choice, I gotta raise my voice. Little but I'm loud. I ain't fooling around. Just ask anybody here in town. Lift me up, don't turn me down. I rise above the crowd. Little but I'm loud. What do you think? Does that describe me? I think so. I think that could be me. So I may have a new theme song. You know, innovation comes to me at all times of the day or night. All right, how you doing this morning? President Trump is over there in Davos. He's giving his speech right now, talking about the unfairness of the world here towards the United States and how he's changing that. I think I could basically coming up with that and some of his accomplishments in the last year too. So I don't, of course, it's going on right now, so we can't really watch it at the same time. But I thought it was worthwhile just mentioning. He did have to. They turned the plane around and brought it back to Andrews Air Force Base with everybody on it, the Beast, the press, everything last night. They had an electrical problem and, excuse me. Well, if you were watching, you happened to see me sneeze. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyways, let's see, what was I saying? Oh, okay, so they brought the plane back, and I don't know at this point how many people got on the plane and went with him on another plane, how they all worked it out, but it was a big discussion how they would do it, whether they would just check the Beast out and then turn it around. But someone was saying last night, and I highly agree with this, that this will be a good reason for a new plane for the president. So whether that plane that they took from the Middle East will be retrofitted or whether something else will be put in, I don't know. But they said that 747 is pretty old. And the problem, they didn't want to risk it because a large part of the area they would be going over water. So they did bring it back. He did make it there. I'm not sure who else made it there, but he is speaking right now if you're interested in looking at that. But how could you? Because I'm on the air right now. All right, what else have we got? We have weather is the topic of discussion. I do think that you need to be prepared. Now, here's the thing. If you're prepared and nothing happens, you're prepared. However, if you're not prepared and the big storm does come, you're going to be saying, how did this happen? So here's what I say you need to do. You need to be prepared. The storm looks like it is on track to be coming our way. So let's take a look at it right now. It is a little chilly out there. It's just out there with Penny. You know, we have 7 acres out back here. I mean, I just want to identify this as an issue. I may talk to the trainer about that. We have 7 acres out back there. Do you think that Penny can go relatively close to where we go out the door? No, we have to walk all the way across the field to a far corner for her to find the proper place to do her business. And I just find it amazing that we can't seem to do it in a place that just would be so much easier. But no, we can't. We have to walk all the way across. And then, of course, we have to walk all the way around, sniffing everything. All the while I'm saying, come on, I got to go. But anyways, that's a little bit about Penny here. And every morning I look at her and I go, come on, can't we just go here? No, I've got a special place. And she will go darting across the field to a way far away corner. All right, a lot of people would say that is better. I agree. I'd rather have her not doing it up around the top. But when it's cold outside, like what is it right now? It is temperature-wise 30 degrees, feels like 30 degrees. Today we are looking for a high of 54, a low of 39. Today is sunny to partly cloudy, high of 54. Tonight, overcast, slight chance of a rain shower, low of 39. Now, coming in on Thursday, we are looking for cloudy with showers, high of 58. Chance of rain is 40%. Thursday night, cloudy in the evening, then off and on rain showers after midnight. Low of 44. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain is 60%. Coming in on Friday. Steady rain in the morning. Showers continuing into the afternoon. High of 52. Chance of rain 70%. All that sounds okay, doesn't it? Then we get to Saturday. Rain showers in the morning will evolve into a more steady rain in the afternoon. Temps near steady in the upper 30s. Chance of rain 80%. Rainfall around 1/4 inch. And Saturday night, watching a potential winter storm. Cloudy with freezing rain expected. Low of 26. Chance of precipitation 90%. And the freezing rain, I think, actually is more of a problem than a little dusting of snow. We could have potential for power lines to go down, all kinds of traffic issues because people don't know how to drive on it, et cetera, et cetera. That is chance of precipitation on Saturday night, 90%. Sunday, when you get up, watching a potential winter storm, freezing rain, high of 34. Chance of precipitation continues at 90%. Sunday night, rain and freezing rain in the evening, becoming partly cloudy overnight. Chance of precipitation 70%. And coming in on Monday, if everything goes as planned, it'll be mainly sunshine along with some cloudy intervals, cold, high of 37, and a low Monday night, bitterly cold. So the problem is if we get any freezing rain, this stuff could stick around. So I highly recommend that you be prepared for the power to go off. Now, it's not something that I'm excited about, but I do know that we need to be prepared. If you have that proverbial generator, if you bought a generator back when Helene came in, now's the time to make sure it's ready to go, you know how to use it, etc., etc. So Monday, high of 37, low of 17. Tuesday, high of 41, low of 22. We are staying in those temperature range pretty much all the following week. So it's going to be cold, cold, cold. Also, don't forget about your pets outside and the rain and the freezing rain. Make sure you get your pets out, have a place to get out of the elements. So here you go. That's the weather forecast. They are showing in certain parts of the state that they may get worse weather. Looks like right now freezing rain is what they're talking about with here, with that very cold Arctic air coming through for all of us. Lord. Oh my gosh. Can we, And on top of that, there are so many events planned. It looks like Greenwood Performing Arts Friday night will come out okay. It's Saturday. If there are any events on Saturday, it looks like those could be in jeopardy on Saturday. So just keep up with the organizations that are having an event, and make sure that you are watching those to see what decision they do make. All right, now that takes care of the weather. That's important. And over there in Ware Shoals, they do have a warming station that is open over there. Let's see. I'll look that back up, but they had opened it last night. Looks like it's going to be open for the next several days, with it being so cold. Again, that is up in Ware Shoals. I don't believe there is any place at this moment. Now, that could change, but I don't think there is any place open at this moment in Greenwood. If anybody knows about one, please let me know, 864-332-9355, and I'll be sure to share that with everybody here. Okay, let's talk about some other things. Last night, County Council met, and I did watch it, and I have a couple of clips for you because I think they are important for you to know about. There is one about Marion Moore speaking to the amount of developments that are coming. He is concerned that we don't want to be, as he says, like Simpsonville or some of these other areas where you can literally reach out the window and shake hands with your neighbor. I couldn't agree with him more, but there are a couple of sides to this issue, but he did speak about that, so we will bring that up, and we're going to play his clip. Excuse me. And then I'm going to play a clip from Miss Stephanie Dorn. It talks about youth violence and some of the monies that are available from the opioids fund that they can have money from, and the Good Life program that they have started, and how a judge, Mindy Zimmerman, wants to start in our community. It was approved by County Council, but I did think it would be worthwhile playing that clip so you can hear some of the details about it. So we'll be doing that in just a few minutes to talk about that. Coming up this Thursday, I want to make sure I get this out here, Thursday the 22nd, atrial fibrillation, getting back in rhythm, and this is part of the series. Join us for Medically Speaking. This is at Lander University, Josephine B. Abney Cultural Center. Okay, I thought I was going to sneeze. I don't know. It's just the time of the year. I'm here. Hey, and I think I'm doing pretty good here this morning. Anyways, Thursday, January 22nd, 5:30 at Lander University's Josephine B. Abney Cultural Center Auditorium. They will have 2 doctors from Self speaking about that, 2 cardiologists. This is brought to you by Self Regional, the Chamber, and Lander University. Would be a good thing if you have any heart issues. If you're living with somebody, you have a relative that has heart issues, might be a good one to go to. So I just thought I wanted to get that out there. That is coming up Thursday evening. And again, I don't think they're looking at the weather to be bad Thursday night. I think you're looking at probably Saturday as the day it's going to hit, unless something else hits us before then. All right. I was trying to see if I could see where that warming center is. I know where I can find it. Somebody had texted me that yesterday. So let's see if I can find that real quick. Had a really good interview with Sheriff Dennis Kelly. We talked about some very issues that people wanted to know about, and you should go back and watch that or listen to it on Facebook. You can listen to it at WCRS Radio. You can also go to our website, WCRS1450am.net, and it will pop right up. It'll pop right up. His interview is already up on the website. So WCRS1450am.net. Check that out. Woo! All right. That's what I got going on here for other things. There's a lot going on in this world. A lot of people are really upset with Trump and how he is pushing for Greenland. I actually want to go back and do some research because evidently back a long time ago, we took over Greenland. Was it World War II? And then at the end of World War II, we gave it back, I think I was hearing. I got to go back and check that out. But something that there is some precedent for us getting Greenland back. Who knew? All right, let's play some of these clips. One of them is relatively short because, it was public comment and you only have, 3 minutes, something like that. The other one was Stephanie Dorn talking about this program is a little longer, but I think well worth taking the time to hear it. I thought about cutting it shorter, but then I said, no, I am going to make sure it is longer. My goodness, everything is binging, binging, binging. Let's see. We're going to play. Where did I put that so I could play it here this morning? Hold on just a second. Nope, it's not there. Let's see. Is it here? Oh, where did I do with it? Come on, Ann. And I wrote it down. Where did I write it down? Where I put it? Come on, Ann. Oh, I have several places it could go. And to interview. Nope, it's not there. It's not there. And to a. Nope, it's not there. And. Well, it doesn't do any good to write it down if you can't find it afterwards, Ann. But that's the joy of live radio here, right? Live radio. I thought it was there. Nope, it's not there. Okay. Well, we may have to talk about something else. We may have to say this. Shame, shame on you. Shame on you. And it's a doggone shame. There you go. That's shame on me. Shame on me. And I found it. So here you go. What do we got here? Let's play County Council Marion Moore public comment on housing and the developments that they are approving, the rezoning, etc. Right after that one, I might add, they approved another housing development, a change in zoning. But let's take it away. County Council with Marion Moore.
Second by Ms. Teresa. All in favor? And that is so ordered. Thank you. Madam Clerk, I think Mr. Marion Moore is here tonight to speak in our public comment session. So, Mr. Moore, if you're here, would you please come forward, state your name and address, and tell us what you'd like to talk about?
My name is Marion Moore. I live at 206 Johns Creek Road, Hodges. Just general comment for tonight and for future references on these developments that are coming into our town. We have a tremendous amount of people who love to come down, developers who love to come in here and purchase property because it's a lot cheaper than Greenwood County or wherever. These developers are not living here. They don't care. They're not going to stay here. They're here to develop that piece of property any way they can to make the most money off of it. I am a prime example of some mismanagement and some misdevelopment on a piece of property on Calhoun Road right now that was annexed into the city, who we diligently opposed the development of it or the way it was started because it was a watershed for Johns Creek. My pond, which is a 9-acre pond, is now muddy for the 14th month in a row. And you can't see. Toby Chappell has seen many pictures of it, I'm sure, from Carol Coleman. And it is a disaster. They look like they have pulled out of this project for currently. I don't know what their intentions are. I can't get an answer out of them. DHEC has been diligently inspecting the property, and they're under an enforcement division criteria right now. These developers will come in here and they'll rape the land. There's not a tree left on the entire property. And throw these houses up side by side. And these aren't, just go out and look at these things and ride the Fountain Inn and look at Simpsonville and look at going up to the left Highway 8. Do we want Greenwood to look like this? Every development where you can stick your arm out the window and shake your neighbor's hand. Your kids can't even have an animal because there's no room to put a dog pen or anything out there. This is not what Greenwood's about, and there needs to be some addressing it. Y'all need to come up with some ordinances. You need to come up with something to slow this down because the development and the people that are doing it. One other comment, all this stuff that's coming in from out of town, y'all need to do your own investigation. I'll bet you with the capital tax, I would bet $10 to a dime that if you really get into it and you have the power to investigate it, and the building department has the power to investigate it, all these materials that come in here, they aren't coming from Sneed's, they aren't coming from this Lowe's. You go down, sit up and wear shows at Highway 25 every morning, you'll see truckloads of sheetrock. You'll see truckloads of materials coming in here going to these developments. I'll guarantee you we aren't getting the capital tax off that thing that y'all think you are. And the county, by not using local resources and setting it up where these developers need to use local suppliers, we're losing millions of dollars. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, again, where's your residence?
I live at 206 Johns Creek Road. I'm in your district.
Yes, sir. Johns Creek. Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, I will tell you that County Council has had conversations in regard to looking at future developments and some of the things that we might want to change in regard to what we require on land development. So thank you for your comments. That is
when these developers get this high density approved, once it's approved for that, it looks to me like a lot of the things are going off the intended, what they stated they were going to do is sometimes not what they're doing. Same thing has happened on that project at Calhoun Road. And if you ride up Simpsonville and all, here's new developments, and there's so many of them out there. They're renting these houses from day one. They can't sell them because there's not enough people to buy them. We get all these houses stuck up right here and not going to buy them, and you got empty houses. Boy, that really looks nice, Even if they're going to develop them like that, require them to do it in stages where they fill the stage up before they start the other stage. There's a lot of ways you can slow it up. But this development like we've got going on right now looks terrible.
Thank you, Mr. Marion. Appreciate you being here.
Well, that was County Council Chairman Theo Lane responding to asking a couple of questions of Marion Moore at last night's meeting. So, I think there's a couple of things. Of course, the city last year put a moratorium on approving, changing zoning, et cetera, et cetera. They have come back with what they feel is a better way. The county, of course, is looking at dollars in, and who was it? I think it was Mark Allison a couple of weeks ago that said if we don't allow these builders to build here, that growth is coming to Greenwood, and with jobs and other industry coming in. Of note, they said they've got 2 walls of their new spec building up last night. But back to the subject at hand, he did say, Mark Allison said at County Council meeting 2 weeks ago, that if they did not allow these developments in, then what would happen is we would lose the tax dollars and people would be living outside the area commuting in. And that was an aside. That wasn't a total reason for, but it is something to consider. There is another thing to consider on this also, is that people that own the property do have some rights. Should they be able to sell? Should they be able to go for rezoning? Should they be able to make a tidy profit by selling their land? That's a question. When you buy land, you do believe you have options. So it's not just one subject, that's it, it's over and done. However, I did think that Marion Moore's, he said there were ways to slow it down. And one of the things that he did bring up was do these developments in stages instead of having all these builders come in and build it out and then leave a bunch of empty houses. That is one. The thing about renting, I do know that at the development that's across from the high school, I believe I was told that they've had to rent or lease to own because they could not sell them. A couple of weeks ago, you may remember, I talked about some of the things that have been said about a lot of these developments. So this is a hot topic for county council, is my point. Just approving, and letting it go its way is not very good for the county, could be not good for the county, may portend future growth, but, and certainly should come under some rights of the people that own this property. But I do agree. We have so much property that has been cut over in preparation for. Some of these developments are in progress, some are not. So I do think that the county definitely needs to look at some of the things they're doing. The other thing that I thought was very interesting about Marion Moore is I'm not sure that you can force developers to buy their products in Greenwood. I just don't think that's possible. But maybe, who knows? But there are things that are happening out there. And the fact that people stand up and are engaged in our county government, in our city government, I think it is a good thing. I wish more people were, but And I also want to commend county council and city council and the school board and anyone that's doing this. Putting your meetings so they are streamed online is a great benefit. Sometimes I was talking to somebody the other day and they go, well, you never come to the meetings, Ann Eller. I said, no, but I watch them. And besides that, you don't let people just pop up and ask a question, so isn't that good enough? Yes, and here we are on the radio this morning discussing county council. All right, I do want to play Stephanie's, but as I said, it is longer. I want to talk about a couple other things, and then we're going to go back to county council. Robert Frost, this is the quote for the day for me. Robert Frost, in 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. He had, and I never realized that because when I was a kid, I had to learn a poem, and the poem that I learned was 2 woods diverged in a yellow wood or whatever, I forget. But anyways, it was about 2 roads diverging in a wood. And I can still recite parts of it, which I'm pretty impressed. But he had such a way with words. He was a terrific poet. But I did not realize what a horrible personal life he had. I mean, he suffered from depression. He had a wife, I think she had cancer, then she died of a heart attack. He lived and it was early, although she did have 4 or 5 children, a couple of them died. I mean, it was just not a happy life. And he said this, and I can concur with this. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. Are you ready? It goes on. Isn't that the truth? Regardless of how we feel about things, regardless of what we plan on things, life, it goes on. It goes on. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I thought that was a neat quote for the day. So despite how you feel about things, despite how you think things are going to go, guess what, folks? It goes on. That was Robert Frost that said that. Now, a couple other things. Today is National Hugging Day. So today, go out and hug a friend. Go ahead. It's National Hugging Day. And it's also, I find this one rather hard to believe, it's National Squirrel Appreciation Day. And for anybody that's ever had wires chewed through or had the side of their house chewed through for these darn squirrels, yes, it is National Squirrel Appreciation Day for those that appreciate it. I don't know. I don't even know if they're still there, but there used to be some albino squirrels that were out there by the West End grocery store, out there by Corley's. I don't know if they're still there or not, but I used to, when I was coming into work from out there at Gatewood, I used to see them every once in a while, and you used to see pictures. I don't think I've seen any, but maybe they're still out there. If anybody knows about the albino squirrels out there in that area, how about drop me a line, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. Well, it should be interesting. President Trump is over there at the World Economic Forum, and now he's taking questions from the audience. Hello, hold on to your seat, folks. All right, so that's one thing. Also, just wanted to mention Macron with his sunglasses on. Maybe his wife got upset that he turned Trump down about serving on the peace commission that he was forming for Israel in Gaza. Maybe that's what she got upset out and said, "You fool bat." Then after that he said, "Want to go to the bedroom?" Do you remember? No, what was it? Oh my goodness, what was it? I can tell you here, laughing. When the old guy would sit on the park bench, and it was Ruth Buzzy who was the femme fatale, except she was dressed to be very, very plain, very ugly. She would sit on the end of the bench. He would sit on the other end of the bench, and he would keep moving over. Want to go back to my place? Want to give me a little kiss? And he'd keep moving over. And then she'd always had a big old purse, and she'd hit him over the head with the purse. Yeah, well, maybe that's the relationship of Macron and his wife. He, of course, is the president of France. One of the things that I thought was interesting was somebody asked President Trump what they thought of Macron turning President Trump down to be on this peace council. He goes, "It's okay. He's not going to be in office much longer. He's going to be voted out." You know, whether you like Trump or not, he has a way of just kind of cutting to the chase, doesn't he? He doesn't get hung up about, oh, well, it really bothered me. He turned me down, but I understand it. No, he just says, he's not going to be in office much longer. Who cares? So, anyways, this should be a very interesting World Economic Forum in Davos, simply because President Trump has set it up to bring Greenland to a head. I think that this is where the rubber's going to meet the road, as they say. Yeah, okay. Someone just said, make sure you charge your battery pack generator. Yep, that's right. Make sure your generator pack is charged. I thought they were commenting. I've got a fire alarm thing. I woke up this morning and beep, beep, beep. I haven't changed that yet. But yes, one thing though, I bought a small generator that has, you charge it electrically, and what's it got? A lithium battery. Those don't discharge the way regular batteries did, and I didn't realize that, but they're right. I need to check that. All right, so anyways, that was my little aside. Now I wanted you to hear, if you have the time this morning, I would like you to hear Stephanie Dorn talking about this. I believe the program is the Good Life program. Yes, the Good Life program. It is a program that is already being used at Brewer and at Emerald High School. It's interesting because they said that juvenile crime, juvenile violence is up tremendously in Greenwood County. And we had the sheriff on yesterday. We didn't talk about that aspect, and I don't know whether that would be information, but I would think so. But that is a piece of information. They actually have facts and figures to back this up. And Mindy Zimmerman is a judge, and she is so disturbed about this, she wants to start a program. Now, let me make sure that you know this is a program which she's going to talk about. It's interesting because Anthony Price over there at Pathway House has been talking about trauma and how trauma affects young people and what they're trying to do. So the research and everything has been out there. Anthony uses that as a modality for helping people get out of homelessness, how it affects children. You know, one of the biggest things that I have as a takeaway from our discussions with Anthony is that children have to feel safe. And if children don't feel safe, their brain misforms. One side gets bigger than the other. Actually, they say that's more important than, although all of these things contribute, but that safety is the most important thing, more important than sexual abuse, all these other things, these horrible things you can think about. If a child feels safe, they grow up much better. Well, here in Greenwood County, we've had a lot of this. I want you to hear Stephanie talking about this right here on WCRS. And yes, and what did you do with it? Yep, here we go. County Council, Stephanie Dorn on the Good Life Grant. In the end, they'll take $200,000 and move this forward. So this is kind of long, but I wanted you to hear all the details of it. So take it away, cue it up. Stephanie Dorn, Greenwood County Council, last night at the meeting.
Item B, consideration of the approval of a South Carolina opioid recovery fund application, and our county treasurer, Ms. Stephanie Dorn, will give details on that, please. And Ms. Carroll, I didn't mention you got a brand new hairdo over there. Mm-hmm. Looks good.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. As you know, we have a fair amount of funds available to us in the related to the opioid recovery, and we're required to get your all's approval on these before we apply for them. We have an application. The application periods are about every quarter, and we have one that ends on January 30th. If you recall, we also have a stakeholders committee, and we put these in front of them as well. We haven't done that yet. That will be done next week. So we will make sure if you all approve it, that they also approve it before we submit it to SCORF. But let me tell you about this particular project that we are hoping to apply for. You may have read an article in the Index Journal that talked about the problem with our juvenile crime in Greenwood County. And Judge Mindy Zimmerman is one that hears a lot of these cases. She moves around from county to county in South Carolina, and she hears a lot of the cases here in Greenwood. And she was at a meeting, and she was asked the question of what's going on with all these kids and guns in Greenwood. Believe it or not, Greenwood County leads South Carolina in gun-related juvenile offenses. And so Judge Zimmerman, it was kind of, she recognized it, but this was kind of like the defining moment where she realized that what's happening with our juveniles isn't working in the criminal justice system. As a measure of that, in 2020, there were 191 petitions related to juvenile crime. 2021, 256. 2022, 373. 2023, 452. That was more than double over a 3-year period, which is an alarming amount of juvenile-related crime. In an effort to create a new system for addressing these situations, Judge Zimmerman has proposed a multidisciplinary juvenile treatment court. This is a partnership between the 8th Circuit Solicitor's Office, the Public Defender's Office, the Family Court, DJJ, and hopefully STARS 24, in addition to a large number of volunteers who have already spoken up and are in agreement to participate in this potential program. So you might be asking me, well, I'm talking about gun violence and I'm talking about other crimes that our juveniles commit. How does that relate to opioid funding? According to Judge Zimmerman, almost every serious case that she sees is related to unresolved trauma in children. The majority of these are related to sex abuse, in addition to other violations. The CDC and National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine research has shown in a previous study through research that demonstrates that youth exposed to adverse childhood experiences, things such as abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction, are much more likely to initiate substance abuse at an earlier age and develop opioid use disorder later in life. So when we talk about trying to stop the opioid problem, it seems obviously relevant that we start with our children. These are the children that need our help more than anybody else. The request for funding is for a program coordinator as part of this program, as part of this request. We cannot organize the group of volunteers, the requirements of what the juvenile court intends to put into place without somebody to monitor all of these activities. In addition to that, we are looking at funding from the Good Life program. Now, you might think that sounds familiar, and it does, because we have already received funding from opioid recovery funds for the Good Life program to go into 2 of our schools. We have the funding in Emerald High School and Brewer Middle School right now. The intent is to expand those programs. This program that we want for the juvenile multidisciplinary treatment court is more intensive than what is being offered in the schools. It will also include group counseling and potential security needs at STARS 24. So what we're looking at is a program that would require juveniles to participate. It would be held at the STARS 24 campus or facility. Judge Zimmerman's already visited the site and spoken with the director, Sabrina Miller, and she has some valid concerns about security with the juveniles that would be coming through. And so that's why we want to have part of this package to include security funding. The vision of this program, I can't do it justice. I wish that Judge Zimmerman could be here, but she's in I think Chesterfield County this week. She is so passionate about the idea of this program, and she could stand up here for an hour and talk to you about how important that this potential program is. But her vision includes teaching our children basic things that they aren't being taught, and that they can't be taught in school, and that they maybe aren't being taught at home, that will serve them in life. But most importantly, none of these children are going to be able to succeed if they're involved with gangs and if they're turning to opioids to solve their problems. I want to talk to you about what is happening right now with the Good Life program, because that's always a question, right? We throw our money out and we hope that it works. And so I asked the director of the Good Life program, show me how it's working now in our schools. Even though this is a different program, I want to know how the Good Life program's working. These are 2 stories he shared with me. A 6th grade student who had participated in Good Life stopped a facilitator in the hallway to share that he had accomplished a personal academic goal set during the program, earning all A's on his test. As he celebrated this win, another student overheard the conversation and asked how had he done it. The student responded simply, "Good Life helped me do it." In that moment, one student's progress became a catalyst for another's belief in what was possible, illustrating how goal setting, accountability, and shared language ripple outward among peers. This is a student that now will probably go much further and have a career rather than turning to gangs and opioid use. In another classroom during a Good Life lesson focused on emotional awareness and focus, students were invited to write about challenges they were carrying. One student, previously perceived as doing well academically, shared deep concern about his parents' ongoing conflict and fear that it was his fault. When the teacher read the journal entry, he immediately recognized the need for additional support and connected the student to counseling resources. This interaction occurred after just 2 sessions of Good Life instruction, demonstrating how the framework creates trust quickly, surfaces hidden trauma, and equips educators to respond with compassion and action. I have multitudes of information, and one more thing I would like to share just about the Good Life program. They originated in Ohio, but they've been in the Abbeville County schools. They've worked with criminal justice systems in other areas. And they also won a national award from the National Association of Counties, an achievement award for the best in category for human services. They label it as a system built to react, a system that was built to prevent and not to react. And so I can answer any questions that you might have about this request for funding, but I would ask that you approve our ability to apply for these funds from the Opioid Recovery Fund.
Stephanie, first, I really appreciate your passion on this because I know you're passionate about it. I missed the county council meeting, the last meeting, and I think it's the third meeting I've missed in my 10 years on council because I had the flu. But during that time, I was having trouble sleeping, and oftentimes I don't see any news but the late night news. But I had the thought during that week that it was staggering that it seemed that every time I turned that television on, late night news, I was seeing reports of kids killing kids, or kids killing adults, or kids home invading. It really was shocking, and I guess I don't have a lot of free time to sit around and watch television, but it seemed like every time I turned the TV on. So it really resonates with me as to what you're saying. Council, having heard Ms. Dorn's presentation, what is your pleasure?
Offer your motion to approve, Mr.
I have a
Chairman.
motion by Mr. Allison,
Second.
second by Ms. Teresa. Comments or questions, council?
I do have a question, thank you. The value of this grant,
Oh, that would be important to
well,
know.
I'm just curious about,
200,000.
and the length. So when you're hiring a program coordinator and a security team, how long will that fund that?
So the SCORE funds are only for 1 year at a time. So we would have to apply again for funding a year from now to continue the program.
Thank you.
And I have talked extensively with Judge Zimmerman and Jamie Stiefel in the solicitor's office about that eventually these funds run out, and we're always hesitant to hire people with that information. But they are hopeful that once we stand the program up and show its success, that there will be opportunities for funding elsewhere as well.
Somewhat to do with this, but are you getting good participation from the committee or the group that you guys brought together for this?
We are. I think just with every committee, you always have a few that are always there and some that are a little bit more sporadic. We're meeting every other month. We had one meeting where I think I was the only one that showed up, and I talked to the staff at CHC, and I said, y'all got to send out reminders, and because people forget even if it's on their calendar, and then it's time for it. So once they started sending out reminders, we've been doing better with our attendance.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a unique thing, and I know some of us gave suggestions on that, and I think their input's valuable, very valuable, and I just was curious how that was going. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You could put Craig Stuckey on that committee. He always shows up. How you doing, Craig? Council, any other comments or questions before we vote? If not, have a motion and a second. All in favor? And that's unanimous and so
Thank you.
ordered. Thank you, Stephanie.
So there you go. That is about the Good Life grant. I thought some of the information that Stephanie presented there, with Greenwood County having the highest gun violence among juveniles, is something that needs to be, I'll use the word, attacked. Of course, they're looking at it through this grant, but there are so many things that we as adults can do. How about, first off, lock up your guns? How about we talked about this with Sheriff Kelly yesterday afternoon. Instead of leaving those guns in your car, or if you're going to leave them in your car, make sure they are hidden. But number two, lock your car. Some of the biggest crime aspects that Dennis Kelly, and we read about this and see notices on this all the time, is lock your car if it's sitting in your driveway and make sure that you don't have valuable items sitting there. Of course, people are going to go for the path of least resistance. But that's where a lot of these gangs come in too, because we have young people joining gangs because, as Dennis Kelly, and that interview is it's on Facebook, WCRS Radio. It's also already on our website, WCRS1450am.net. But the gangs are popular in our community because of a sense of belonging. They see young adults who are, I'll use the word cool, and they think they would like to be like that. And quite often they go into our developments here and just go through the cars parked in the driveways. And if a door opens, they rifle through. If they happen to find a gun or valuables or money in there, they take it. So there are a lot of things that we as individuals can do. I think another thing, and this was on one of the shows on WCRS Radio. I actually think Lars Larson was talking about this, I believe, last night, is that we need to educate our children to how to handle a gun, how not to handle a gun. Whether guns are in the household or not, it needs to be explained. I think sometimes we think, well, we don't have any guns in our household, so we don't have to talk about that. And we always, they were talking about last night, particularly how young black people, young black boys particularly, always have to have the talk. And you think they're talking about sex. No, they're talking about how to act when the police stop you. Well, what about the talk about how to be aware of what you're doing, about the right and wrong? How about guns? Is that, and what they found in a survey that they did, that they don't talk about that. Families that have guns in them, quite often, not always, because we do hear horrific stories about a child getting a gun, but quite often children are learning how to handle the guns, number one. Number two, they're put up so they don't have access to it. But I don't know how many times we've heard a story where somebody just left a gun out, child picked it up, and either the child shot themselves or shot somebody else. It was a total accident. They really didn't know. I think the other thing that contributes to some of this also is all the video games that are out there where children are involved. I mean, they have video games about all the things that you can do, all the shoot 'em up, all the cop stories, all this kind of stuff. So my bottom line is that there are things that parents can do. And that is, I think, one of the things that we need to do as parents, need to become more responsible. I realize that's probably not going to happen, so that's why we need programs in the school, and I think this is terrific. If it helps teach these kids how to succeed in life, then it is a good thing. The name of the program is the Good Life Program. It is already in Emerald High School and Brewer. I think this would be an expansion of this program, and like Stephanie Dorn said, I guess they're looking at having that program at the Stars 24, which is, of course, the Boys and Girls Club over there, is where they would have it. This is funding for 1 year with the opioid recovery money that they can tap into, and that's where they would like to go with that. So, questions or comments, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. I'm sure you are surprised to hear that Greenwood County is the #1 county in the state for juvenile gun violence. I know I was surprised to hear that. What else do I have? I have a couple more things that I just wanted to say before I give it up. Penny's going, come on, I need my breakfast. Hurry up here. What else did I have? Oh, yes, here you go. Over here. There we go. Well, the Senate is coming up with a new tax plan that is on a fast track down there in Columbia. We don't have time to talk about that today, but that is another interesting issue that when they do these things, are they actually helping us or hurting us is the question, right? The other thing I wanted to mention is that the post office is moving forward with significant price increases by mail. So that is another story that is out there. Look for the prices to increase. Now, this is for packages, which I found most interesting. This was on packages. It doesn't have anything to do with stamps. Evidently, the post office can up the price on packages without a big hoopla. Stamps are something different. USPS announced price changes, but the new prices will officially go into effect this week as Priority Mail Express, Service, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select are all seeing price increases of more than 5%. Beginning on January 18th, which was a couple of days ago, prices will be increasing in several categories. It's interesting because it's not really tied to. It says it's worth noting, however, first-class mail stamps will remain at 78 cents after increasing from 73 cents back in July. It says, as part of the Postal Service's Network Modernization and Transformation Plan, these proposed changes will support creation of a revitalized organization capable of achieving its public service mission, providing nationwide integrated network for delivery of the mail and packages at least 6 days a week in a cost-effective and financially sustainable manner over the long term, just as the U.S. Congress has intended. That's what the USPS, Postal Service, said in a news release. So that is most surprising. It says the news might come as a surprise to some after Postmaster General David Steiner announced back in September that USPS would not raise its prices for market-dominant products in January. And here they are, doing it anyways. So they are not going to up the price of stamps. You know, it's going to cost $1 to send a letter before long. How much longer do you think that we're actually going to have letters, folks? Yeah, all right. So, anyways, I just thought I'd mention that. If you go to the post office and you go, well, last week it only cost me this much to send that package, guess what? It's costing you more, folks. Anyways, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. We are not going to have Meet Me at the Diner this afternoon. However, on Thursday, we're going to have Alan Easler with Cornerstone is going to be talking about the upcoming program about vaping, which I'm very much want to know more about because I don't understand it. But what the effects of vaping, what are the types of vapes out there, and we may talk about a few other things that are addictive for people out there using vapes, using... What is that thing called? Begins with K. Caraman, whatever. We're going to be talking about that too. I think you'll find that a fascinating show. That will be Thursday afternoon right here on WCRS Radio. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or know of a news story I need to investigate, you need to you need to let me know. 864-332-9355. That is the new text and message line. You can leave a voice message. It turns it into a text. I love it because it lets me communicate with you right during the show. So 864-332-9355. Let me know if you know of something you'd like me to investigate, like me to be aware of something, things happening in our community. Please let me know. I'd love to be able to attack it because, you know,
I'm little but I'm loud, dangerous, proud. I don't really care if people stop and stare. Little but I'm loud. I ain't fooling around. Just ask anybody here in town. Lift me up, don't turn me down. I rise above the crowd. Little but I'm loud. Oh, yeah. This world's a noisy place, politicians in your face. I don't have a choice, I gotta raise my voice. I'm little but I'm loud. I ain't fooling around. Just ask anybody here in town. Lift me up, don't turn me down. I rise above the crowd, little but I'm loud.
yeah, that's me. I'm little but I'm loud. The voice of Greenwood right here on WCRS. That is Rosie Flores. And the name of the song, I'm little but I'm loud. But I like that song. I think it has possibilities for me. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Thursday morning, tomorrow morning, I will have to see. I hope I can make it back for the show. I got an early morning meeting, but I hope to be back to do the show with you. If not, Penny made it do the show. She's asked me if she could just do the show. She said she'd play music and be totally entertaining right here on Facebook Live. So make sure you check it out. I don't know what I'm doing. She thinks she's ready. I'm not sure she is. Hey, this is WCRS Radio right here in Greenwood, South Carolina. We are finished for today, so the show end, curtain down, and that's going to do it for me. Have a great day.
And now, it's time.
Oh, we don't want that one. How about this one?